You too. What it do, man? It's your boy Benji. We are back in between the ropes. I literally started recording this video and then I realized that my audio wasn't on. My mic. So that's crazy. Look, anyways, I appreciate each one of y'all. We are climbing up the ranks, and I appreciate everybody that's sliding over to that subscribe button and giving it a good old slap for me. Slide me a thumbs up on this video because I appreciate you. I love you guys. Hey, but look, seriously, man, we love all things movies, TV shows, and wrestling this way. I've been slacking a little bit with the movies and TV shows, but I do appreciate each and every one of y'all that's been telling me storylines to check out, been keeping me up to date with what's going on, as well as letting me know matches I need to check. We getting lit, man. But as things go up, sometimes things must go down. It is Friday. Friday Night Smackdown opens up with Solo Sikoa. He's on the mic, opening the show, talking about how him and his MFTs whooped on Sami Zayn on Raw, as well as stomping out Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. He then challenges everybody in the back, and before he could even finish the sentence, we hear the music of Sami Zayn. Mr. Zayn is upset because Solo was intervening in Sami's match against Rusev, which likely stopped him from getting one step closer to the World Championship. But since he's talking to the man with the plan, Sami makes a good point. Why solely go after the world title? You haven't even been the United States champion yet. I will say it was interesting. This is one of the few times that they've made it blatantly obvious that the titles are brand specific. So Sami Zayn announces that he's currently a member of the Smackdown roster. Remember a few months ago, like not long ago, before Sami's been getting derailed with all these other feuds and pointless matches, when Seth Rollins offered him an opportunity to become champion by just taking his slimy behind over to SmackDown, and he refused it, and now he just willingly goes over to SmackDown a few months later. Let's just omit that from your memory. At least this is a good reason for anyone to be a part of the Bloodline Vortex. Sami spends a little bit too much time talking, and the MFT start jumping him. And a few seconds later, we hear Jimmy Uso's music. And even though Jimmy is able to get a couple hits in, the numbers game starts to take over. It isn't too long before we get Jacob Fatu beelining straight for Solo Sikoa. They all tussle and utilize some combined efforts to get Tala Tonga out of the ring, and the three of these guys stand tall. Nick Aldis shows up in the midst of all the commotion and decides to throw all these guys into a main event match. He's a completely unprepared GM. And, I mean, really, who wouldn't have guessed that this would have been the match? This has been the recipe for Raw and SmackDown, week in and week out. I guess Sami and Jacob are going to be at odds, but maybe not be at odds, even though Sami Zayn is going after the United States Championship, and so is Jacob. But yeah, anyways, the first match of the night was Alexa Bliss versus Piper Niven. This is really a match that should just not happen. It shouldn't exist in reality. In kayfabe, it doesn't matter either. Whether or not we've seen Piper Niven get much wins, I mean, look at literally the physical stature between these two women. Alexa Bliss is maybe 5 feet, 110, 120 pounds. Piper, like it should be a no, like it shouldn't even be something that we can consider. There should be weight classes for a reason, right? But for some strange reason, we're supposed to believe that Alexa Bliss even stands a chance here. I thought this was going to be a match where we might have at least seen the Secret Service do something meaningful, but no, it rained on the parade of the, again, ineffective Secret Service, as Alexa Bliss ended up scoring a effortless roll-up win. I told y'all weeks ago, I'm done with the Secret Service. Dude, they barely scored like 5 wins between the 3 of them. Why am I supposed to believe in them? Is this supposed to mean that they're building up a match between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus the Secret Service? Have they even won as a tandem? In order to build up the tag team division, they literally destroyed any challengers. I mean, I'll salute, but I don't know what this means. Even though the Secret Service end up standing tall after the match, I don't know. Again, I don't understand what this is supposed to mean. Am I supposed to be excited for them? In some sense, shout out to Wade Barrett in the back. He's supportive, but okay, you guys, one time you guys have done something meaningful. Whoop-de-doo. And in reality, you didn't do anything meaningful. You beat up somebody in a moment where it didn't matter for anything. You didn't win the match. Backstage, we got Nia Jax interrupting Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. These two were just arguing backstage. Tiffany finally acknowledges Nia and she repeats the things that she's been saying for weeks. And looks like we're going to get another match with these women. Tiffany and Nia. I mean. So normally I try and do a yay, nay, and somewhere in the middle is okay kind of deal. What have we got this far on the show? Everything's a nay to me. No. But I will keep it positive because it is possible we might see a little bit of development in regards to the Secret Service. They might actually do something meaningful. I do like them as characters individually, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, them following Chelsea around is hilarious. Guess what, guys? MELO is back on TV. And I think his TV time, or at least the only hope of him getting TV time, is just whenever The Miz decides to clock in. We know MELO can hoop. We know FRAXIOM can do cool things. But we get The Miz stealing the show in the end of the match after tagging himself in and getting the win from a skull-crushing finale. Even though The Miz is sitting there cheering after getting his W, MELO is left perplexed because he was finally getting momentum and looked like he was actually going to get a pin. So MELO's still like winless. These guys later rushed backstage and catch Nick Aldis in the midst of a convo with the Motor City Machine Guns. MELO is begging Aldis for a match for the United States Championship, but a cocky Miz ends up butting into the convo and turns this into a tag team match for next week. Everyone's a little bit confused, but hopefully this starts to build MELO so that he can eventually spread his wings in the solo division. And at least by then he'll be an actual threat. But again, I don't understand what's going on because it's not even like in this match he was able to secure a win. Maybe this will at least big him up to finally turn on The Miz. I don't know where they're going with this. They're so start-stop with Carmelo Hayes. It's really tough to predict. So while I would love to give this at least an okay, I still can't get it because we've built up FRAXIOM to be somebody who was a tough tag team to stop because they came in their build to be undefeated and then they start taking L's. And they're just the cool guys that can flip and then they just end up losing the match. They're effectively the LWO. We then get another backstage segment with Miss Stratton. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't remember the name the other week, but I kind of dig what Miss KIANA James is selling right now. This is an interesting angle. KIANA's a rep for some of the champions looking to grow and grab security. I think that it's dope. We've got a bunch of champions running around without anyone behind them. I kind of like this. KIANA's doing a heavy lifting too by doing some exposition that's kind of fleshing out the character arcs for multiple people, like a Julia and even Tiffany Stratton. I think this conversation did more for Tiffany Stratton than she's done over the last few weeks, just telling everybody, you're going to get pinned by me. I kind of like this angle. Anyways, Tiffany turns down KIANA, who lets Miss Tiffy know, if you're not with us, you're against us. I am glad, though, that KIANA was able to quickly shush Michin as she tries to sneak in another opportunity to shoot her shot for the United States Championship. Undoubtedly, the best part of the show was Drew McIntyre on the mic. Bitter Drew is back. Drew is back with the facts. Who is Cody Rhodes without his story, he asks. Drew reminds us that he was Cody Rhodes 5 years ago, who had to rebuild himself, similar to what Mr. Rhodes had to do. He was exiled from the company, similar to what Mr. Rhodes had to do. They've walked similar paths, but everybody cheers Cody Rhodes, yet doesn't quite resonate with Drew McIntyre the same way, even though he's been screwed. Then Drew just does an amazing job walking through what he calls the crime scene, reminding us about why he did what he did to Cody Rhodes last week. He makes an amazing point that it was Cody who initiated the fight last week. He was dragged out of the ring by Cody. The match was then called a disqualification or no contest after Logan Paul hit a low blow. And Drew could have just went his way with Logan, but it was Cody Rhodes who ran Drew's head into the pole and then started stripping everything off the table, preparing to plant Drew through it. Drew made some good points, man. He's never the bad guy, but with proof, he's able to show everybody he's the real nightmare. Again, Drew is good. Let's get him a belt. Yay segment. I'll give that to him. Yay segment. We also got the Street Profits versus DIY, which I guess is a match that I just assumed would have came with a little bit more than it did. But it looks like Smackdown is, while they're doing a good job building up the importance of a lot of the characters in this tag team division, it seems as if they're doing this to just provide us filler matches. But yeah, in this match, B-Fab and Candice take some crazy bumps. Like, Candice does this crazy Hurricane Rana where she jumps off the top rope, lands on Montez's shoulders, and then flips him outside the ring. B-Fab gets slammed into the stairs, and then she catches Candice lacking right outside of it with a pump kick. Match is alright, of course, but the crowd was quiet for most of it. The Street Profits end up taking the win. Byron catches R-Truth backstage right after, and he's back clowning around. We literally did a whole movement to get this guy back working. For what? For the WWE to act like this was something that they did purposefully and there was some type of meaning behind what they did. Don't even try to play us like that. This dude has had nothing going on since he came back to the show. Aleister Black shows up, and again, he's starting to get lost in the sauce too. They did this big build for him to come to the show, and it looks like as if they haven't really gotten anything planned for him either. He ends up just challenging Truth to a match, and we do get a glimpse of the serious side of Truth again, where Aleister Black points out, there he is. Maybe he's going through indecisiveness or some type of bipolar disorder, like something akin to whatever John Cena's got going on. Maybe there's some Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde stuff that kind of ebbs and flows at the same time at John Cena. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do with this guy. I don't really get it. Maybe he's taken over by the Wyatt Six. Our main event is the MFTs versus Jacob, Solo, and Sami Zayn. I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. Sami pinned Solo. I have no idea why any of us are supposed to take Solo and the MFT seriously. They've outnumbered everybody that they have faced, and they've lost nearly every encounter. Solo barely won the belt, but has been pinned every week. Yet, we got guys like JC Mateo who have never lost or have barely ever lost. That's your show. That's seriously your show. That's a nay segment to me. Purposeless. Nothing really gets advanced. I guess it's just supposed to mean something since now Sami Zayn has gotten the mental edge over Solo because he's pinned him. Dude, almost everybody in the WWE roster has pinned Solo Sikoa. He's got a bunch of dudes running around beside him that shouldn't be. They're not doing him any service. I'm seriously not even trying to beat one of those dudes. If I had to add it all up, this is probably a nay episode of SmackDown. Like, it wasn't as horrible. Like, there's some potential in some of the things that they've slightly addressed in this episode. But honestly, if you did not watch this episode, it wouldn't matter. Like nothing in this episode happened that would have changed the course of anything going into next week, or would have answered any questions that you had from last week. This is literally a pointless episode. It doesn't make any sense. It really serves no purpose in the catalog. I'm literally not even trying to be negative like that. It wasn't horribly done. They didn't insult our intelligence the entirety of the episode, but this is pointless. I'm on to the next one. Appreciate y'all.